As Red Bull enters its 18th season in F1, its impact on the sport has been immense. Winning Grand Prix from its 4th season and titles from its 5th, its cars have seen it become one of F1's most influential powerhouses. The team arrived aimed to disrupt from the moment it set foot in the F1 paddock. Red Bull developed into a team that pushes the boundaries of excellence. Only matched by its political prowess off the track, the team now has almost 20 years of racing at the pinnacle of motorsport. Welcome to this channel. Before we proceed, kindly subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay updated when we release new videos. Without further delay, let's dive in. Red Bull's new Formula One car, a disguised revolution? The latest rumors about Red Bull's new Formula One car, the RB19, suggest that the design innovations are more extensive than what will be initially presented. On February 3rd, the RB19 will be unveiled in New York, but it's not certain that this presentation will reveal all details of the car. It's possible that Red Bull will follow the same script as last year and reveal more information during preseason testing in Bahrain before the first Grand Prix of the season. Despite noticeable similarities between the RB18 and the RB19, sources close to the Milton Keynes team claim that the new car will have vastly different aerodynamic design, with 90% of its aerodynamic surfaces being different from those of the RB18. These rumors are intriguing, as it suggests that the RB19 may be a totally new single-seater in terms of aerodynamics, with significant changes from one of its strongest aspects in the previous year. History of Red Bull Formula One. Red Bull Racing came into existence late in 2004 under the guidance of team principal Christian Horner, himself new to F1, with ambitions to challenge for Grand Prix victories and World Championship titles. Over the next 4 seasons, the team laid solid foundations for later success. The team recruited in both quantity and quality, steadily expanding in numbers until they were capable of matching the most illustrious names in racing. Many of those recruited came with proven championship-winning pedigree, but the growing team weren't looking solely outwards and also promoted from within. Red Bull Racing were a young team in every sense. The initial driver lineup was a mix of youth and experience. David Coulthard provided the latter, while Christian Klein, Antonio Liuzzi, and Robert Dornbos were the former. Coulthard scored the team's first podium, finishing 3rd on the streets of Monaco in 2006. For 2007, Mark Webber came on board to join Coulthard. The team finished 5th in 2007, but disappointingly dropped back to 7th again in 2008, despite a podium for DC in Canada. But everything was going to change in 2009. The following year saw Red Bull Racing achieve the ambitions set out 5 years earlier. Driving the RB6, Webber and Vettel were the class of the field in 2010 and title contenders from the start. Their consistent podium finishes secured the team the first title, the Constructors' Championship, at the penultimate round in Brazil. Both drivers went to the final race in Abu Dhabi with a shot at the driver's crown. Vettel emerged triumphant, winning the race to become the sport's youngest ever world champion. 2010 was just the first season of an incredible 4-year spell, where despite fightbacks from the other established teams and some tight battles, Vettel and Red Bull Racing swept the board with 4 consecutive drivers and constructors' titles from 2010 to 2013. Now, according to Ralf Schumacher, Red Bull Racing can enter a new era after winning the first constructor titles since 2013. However, Michael Schumacher's brother does hold up hope that Ferrari and Mercedes can rejoin the battle for world titles in 2023. Max Verstappen won the United States Grand Prix, and according to the Schumacher, the Dutchman has been making a difference all season, even in the difficult stages. He has always made most of his package, Schumacher said in his column of Sky Sports. He therefore calls the fact that Verstappen managed to win 13 of the first 19 races and 2022 impressively now when it comes to Horner and what their futures are for next year. Horner had this to say: "We are very happy with our performance this year. And as the saying goes, don't fix what's not broken." And I do think this is completely true when it comes to what Horner has to say. I think when it comes to how they have performed so well this season, I think next season they aren't going to look to make any drastic changes due to the fact that it worked this season as well. Now don't get me wrong. I think Mercedes and Ferrari are going to come up with huge upgrades in order to take down Red Bull. But so far, they are nowhere near Red Bull status. We're going to continue to say as the old goes, we continue to push and push further. But I think where we are right now, we can definitely still win next season very easily. So I absolutely love the confidence from Horner, thinking that his team is above all else. And I think that is completely true. As of right now, when you've seen Verstappen win these Grand Prix, you have seen the second place really be far behind Verstappen, and he's definitely on a level of his own. And for the first time in 8 years, it is not Mercedes that runs away with the Constructors' title but Red Bull. According to Macker, Red Bull can now start shaping a new era. And it's also a bit of a problem in Formula One. Once the leadership is there and we have the cost limit, it is difficult for other teams to catch up. Schumacher believes, and that's definitely what Horner said as well. I do think when it comes to how the car is going to be looking next year, it is going to be fantastic to see them bring it back, but bring it back even stronger. And that is going to be so scary, especially for other F1 teams, especially Ferrari and Mercedes. Now Schumacher continued to say, I'm hopeful that Ferrari can make life much harder for Red Bull next year, and Mercedes is also on the rise again. Despite Ferrari and Mercedes making strides, Schumacher knows one thing for sure: in 2023 Red Bull will definitely be the team to beat, and I completely agree with these guys. I think Red Bull are the team that have their target on their back, and they are the ones everyone is going to be looking at to see how this car performs, especially due to the fact that they have honestly dominated this season. So next season will be an interesting one. And I do think with everything that is going on, and with the little upgrades that they are going to bring to the car that they have mentioned and rumored here or there, they are going to be very, very scary, and Mercedes and Ferrari are going to have a tough time trying to keep up now. With Mexico City Grand Prix just around the corner, the next story I wanted to talk about was, will Max Verstappen repay Sergio Perez by giving him the win? The battle for P2 in the F1 Drivers' Championship hitting up between Charles McLaren Sergio Perez with Maximo 7 be prepared to help his teammate over 700 pair is at his home race. Sergio Perez is locked in an intense fight for second place in the Drivers' Championship, trailing Charles, declared by just 2 points with 3 rounds remaining, while Red will have already secured the Drivers' and Constructors' crowns. They will still be wanting Perez to finish second behind Max Verstappen, something they never managed in the days of Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber. The F1 Mexico City Grand Prix is Perez his home race, and at first ever victory in front of his adoring fans would be something special to see. During his Red Bull career, Perez has helped Verstappen on multiple occasions, most notably at the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, where he backed Lewis Hamilton up considerably during the race. Would Verstappen be willing to return the favor and help Perez win in Mexico? Verstappen has already wrapped up driver's title, but he's searching for his 14th victory of the year. A 14 will move him clear into the record books for the greatest number of wins in a season, but Verstappen will have the opportunity to do in Brazil and Abu Dhabi. Verstappen has dominated the Mexico City Grand Prix in recent seasons, winning on 3 occasions. Now, I think it would be fantastic if our staff and gave the win to someone like Sergio Perez, due to the fact that this is his home turf. But obviously Verstappen has records that he wants to be as well. So I do see that point of view. It's likely that the Dutchman will be the main debate. But if Perez is running in second, would he help give up the win, given our competitive and hungry Verstappen is to win? It's highly unlikely, but it's an interesting talking point nonetheless. Can Mercedes and their windows out? However, now I don't think that will be happening due to the fact that Verstappen and Sergio Perez, I feel, are going to dominate this race and continue to dominate as time goes on. And moving into the next story, they made Verstappen's life difficult with the slow pit stop. And as you all remember, in the USA Grand Prix, there were a lot of issues when it came to a long pit stop that had Max Verstappen lose a lot of places. So Red Bull Racing Team principal Christian Horner admitted that they made Max Verstappen his race at COTA more difficult. with a slow pit stop rose up and said Pickett's stop in the United States Grand Prix was affected by the issues with the front left tire. As a result, the Dutchman rejoined the track behind Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc and had to overtake both of them on the racetrack to win the race. And Verstappen managed to overtake both of his opponents. And when the US Grand Prix, his 13th victory in the 2022 seasons, Max drove a very controlled race, but then everything suddenly came to life during the second pit stop, which failed. We had chosen the medium tires because, in our opinion, they were the better tires. Horner commented on the matter. Design continuity, the key to overcoming design challenges. In Formula One, technical regulations dictate the design of cars, including the curvatures, fillets, edges, angles, and surfaces in contact with the airstream. This year, the Red Bull team has made changes to these surfaces, including the volume, sections, and profiles of the Venturi channels, based on the analysis of last season's aerodynamic performance. Despite limitations on aerodynamic resources, the team aims to bring a mature car to the track by maximizing the initial design evolution. This approach reduces the need for further developments, allowing the team to effectively manage their limited simulation and research resources in 2023. Under the direction of Pierre Wash and Adrian Newey, the Red Bull team has identified areas for improvement compared to their previous car, the RB18. On paper, these upgrades may seem challenging given the team's budget cap restrictions, but the goal is to make a conceptually mature car that minimizes the number of required analyses and studies. That's all I have for you guys for today. If you liked watching this video, please make sure to click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon so that you may be notified when we upload a new video. Thanks for watching.